Well, good afternoon, this is Houndog Steve wishing you a very pleasant afternoon, and here we are on a absolutely superb fall afternoon in October. The weather has been absolutely stunning. The temperature today is about 19-20 degrees, something like that. There's a little breeze blowing, and of course, as you can see, the backdrop has completely changed. The leaves are just about all down, and I've harvested the potatoes. There's a few more tomatoes to get yet, but yes, it's been a very pleasurable fall so far. So anyway, let's take a look around. A few things have changed, and yeah, we'll do a catch-up. Okie dokie, here we go. As I said before, these are tomatoes growing up the vine. Didn't quite reach the eave there, but boy oh boy, did they ever produce a lot of tomatoes all summer long. And you can see they're still coming on. We've had this really long drawn out fall, which is actually unusual. We've only had 2 frost warnings so far this year, and trust me, getting into this time of the year is very, very strange. I hope this isn't the calm before the storm. So everything is doing well. It's all going to seed. I got my water barrels turned over and ready for winter time. This is my final harvest of onions and potatoes. They're just curing for a couple of days and drying out, and I'll be boxing them up this afternoon. Now, I knew there would be a tremendous amount of leaves because, of course, we are surrounded by hardwood trees, but I think the thing that I wasn't expecting was the amount of pine needles that fall off these trees. Literally every day. I've raked this garden over here 3 or 4 times to get the needles off, but you can just see on the ground, and I was wondering why when I first got here there really wasn't much of a lawn, and now I know why. And I don't know whether these mushrooms are evidence of an acidic soil, but it wouldn't surprise me at all because we have a lot of mushrooms on this property. And as you can hear, of course, it's gotten a lot more noisy since the leaves have come off the trees. But yeah, this warm weather has meant that I have been still getting my supplement of greens, which is good. A change of season, it's always good to eat those dark leafy greens and get the iron going up and help out the kidneys a little bit. Strengthen the immune system, ready for the coming dark days of winter. They're still picking leaves off the beets and kale, but again you can see it's drowning in pine needles. So I think we're going to have to move these beds for next year. I'm not quite sure. I'm probably maybe over on the other side there, closer to the that side of the house. Anyway, I do think that we are heading into a dark winter. I am absolutely thankful that I have this huge propane tank. There is 1,000 gallons of propane in there, and it is not quite full. It's going to be filled up in the next couple of days. Because I am hearing, I was just watching a video at lunchtime, they're talking about a 30% increase in energy costs this winter. And if it's a cold, that's if it's just a regular winter. If it's a cold winter, you could be looking at energy costs as increases as high as 50%. That for most people would account for about maybe $2,000 in a season. So yes. And of course, the cost of fuel and energy affects all of your other costs as well, because everything has to be transported somewhere, and everyone has to drive. People have to drive. They have to have more income, so there'll be more pressure on wages. So we're just waiting. I got the coax cable arrived today, so we are just waiting for this to be tuned. I don't quite know what that is, but my friend who's a ham radio operator is going to come over and we're going to tune this antenna, because as you can imagine, you can look at the size of this thing. It's frickin' huge. It's 19 feet. So I would imagine we have to adjust the length of those antennas. They're all slidable, and anyway, I'll be videoing that in a separate video. Also going to be pulling out those solar panels away from the wall so that they're at a better angle to capture more sunlight as we're into the much shorter days. We started shutting down the other house because as some very kind electrical engineer who was also off-grid said to me that I will not have enough power this winter to run all of the pumps in the big house and for the furnace itself and in this garage here, converted garage. So we're shutting down this house, the big house. All the lines will be blown out. The plumber is coming in sometime next week to do that. And oh, this is my new purchase. I just went and picked this up this morning. Cost me $1,000. And I think it was a steal. It is in really good shape. It's really well put together. I'm going to spray those wood panels with car under sealing. It'll be a little rough, but it will keep all the weather off it. And yeah, 4x8 trailer. Very nice indeed. I'm very pleased with that. That'll be a very handy item around here. And yes, I'm stocking up on gas and diesel. Again, if we're going to have a 30% increase in the cost of energy, wow. And there's availability. You know, I'm sure that you've all seen the news reports coming from England, and they are actually not able to get gasoline. The gas stations have run out. So I'm certainly pleased to be having some stuff stocked up. And why I think it's going to be a difficult winter is because, you know, the government now has reached its target of people being inoculated. They say it's 80%. I don't think so, because if things are going well, you don't have to give gifts and, you know, really coax people, you know, to get them in to, yeah, to get that done. So there was an election. Trudeau just got elected. He has a virtual majority. He's only a few seats off, and the NDP, the National Democratic Party, are right behind him in every way. And so the carrot is going to end, and the stick is going to come out, and you're going to see 1/5 of your population are going to be annexed. They're going to be ostracized from society, and it will become more and more difficult to access services. And I cannot believe that we are going to repeat the failed experiment of 1936 and 1945, and we all know what happened there, and 6 million people died in that process, and the collective guilt of that country afterwards, when people finally woke up and realized what they had done. It went on for decades. Okay, and the same thing is happening here. And yes, people are going to get ostracized. You're going to see family members cast into the wilderness, and you are going to regret this, because it's all going to turn out that it was an overplayed situation. Okay, this is just a regular flu. It may be a little worse than others, but as I said before in other videos, you know, you could pick any year in the last 40 years of influenza, or any particular disease for that matter, and turn the spotlight on it, and you are going to see a trail of tragedy. Okay, and of course every situation, for when someone passes, for everyone involved, that is a tragedy. But in the big picture, in the overall scheme of things, really we are not out of line with the regular parameters for people who die from influenza and influenza-related illnesses in a normal year. And you know, I can prove that. And you can yourself just look up the stats online. The stats will tell you that we are so close to being, you know, a regular year. So this is all about control. I believe it is all about getting you to have an app on your phone. And anyways, the people who are saying no, and they realize that there would be about 20-25% of the population would dig their heels in. And so now, like I say, the stick has to come out, and it's going to be a rough winter, my friends. So if you are not prepared, Parliament opens on the 22nd of November, and that is when I expect things to start getting really rough. So you have literally a little over a month. Like if you're not going to go through with an inoculation, you have literally a month. And and it's kind of interesting because someone accused me of being what they consider a dangerous person, because firstly they think that because I posted a couple of Veritas videos, hidden mic videos, that I was a dangerous person, and that that I was anti-inoculation. Well, no, I'm not anti-inoculation. I've had my series of inoculations over the years. However, I am pro-free choice. I am against being forced into a situation, and I have the personal right to decide my own personal risk in the situation, which is very, very small. I have a 99.7% chance of recovery, full recovery, with no ill effects whatsoever, other than 2 shit weeks in my life. And I have the right to say that I do not want to be part of any trial or experiment until it's completely done. The trial date ends for Pfizer in May 2023. Okay, so I will at least be waiting until May of 2023 until those trials are over, and that's only the short-term effects. We still do not know the mid-term or the long-term effects. This is a completely new and experimental way of inoculating people. And they said they've been working on it for years, but I don't think that they have really tested it this far and wide on a living subject. And so this is why all the notes are being taken. You are part of a huge experiment. You are the live animal trials in the situation. And I have a right to say, no, I don't want to be part of that. It's my body. And luckily I'm not working, so I cannot be coerced. And even if they decide to cut off benefits, which I just again read on Facebook today, that this was what was going to happen. If you're collecting a government benefit of any kind and you don't want to get inoculated, it will be cut off. It'll be interesting to see how that'll work, but still, 20% of people getting thrown under the bus? Are you kidding me? So it's going to be a horror show, folks. And I hate to be all doom and gloom here, but boy, oh boy, we're all going to be forced to make some tough choices in the next few weeks and months ahead. And so, anyways, I'm kind of glad that I found myself where I am, and that I actually could resist financially. I can survive financially for quite a long time without any benefit from the government. So we're going to see where this goes. I am digging my heels in. I'm from the DDT era. I'm from the thalidomide era. I have absolutely incredible mistrust when it comes to the scientists, to the government, and to Big Pharma. Look at OxyContin. How many oxy addicts do we have now? And these companies knew. They knew all along. Johnson & Johnson was little more than a drug dealer in the OxyContin situation. They supplied the main ingredient to OxyContin to all of the other producers. So there you go. Why would I automatically trust these people, who have maimed people? In Canada, you didn't really have. There was thalidomide here. There's no doubt about it. But in England, I don't know anybody who didn't go to school with somebody who had taken thalidomide. It was a horrible situation, and yet it was proclaimed to be absolutely safe. Doctors gave out millions of free samples to pregnant women, and this was a drug to cure morning sickness. And this drug is still around. It's being used in anti-cancer treatments, even though it's known to give people peripheral neuropathy. It still has some horrible side effects associated with it, but well, at least they're not giving it to women. So there you go, that's my position, and that's why I'm doing and saying what I'm saying. I think it's important that we all are allowed to make an informed choice. We all need to know what's in these inoculations, and there is no ingredients on them. You know, that's not an informed choice, and being, you know, forced to quit your job. I've got friends now who have been given a deadline, and trust me, this is going to cause ripples in the whole service network and government services, because many of these people, as I said before, taking a leave of absence, and so they are not. And these are the intelligent ones. They're the ones who know what's going on, so they're getting out. Just like the people who took the early buyouts in pensions, they're the ones that knew they were going to have to be hired back as consultants, because they knew that everyone else was just dicking around and was dead wood. So there you go. Anyway, be well, my friends. You take care. I've got a couple of other videos I'm working on right now, and but in the meantime, you have yourself a great afternoon, and we'll talk very, very shortly. See you now. Bye.